You know, I've noticed lately, everybody has an opinion. And when I was young, it wasn't that way, People would have maybe, I don't know, 6 opinions, Sometimes you meet a guy, he'd have 8 opinions. You go, God damn, that guy's opinionated. But about 6 opinions, that'd be about, and most of them were about food, tell you the truth. People would go, Count Chocula, what the fuck's wrong with you? Stuff like that. I have opinions. I have opinions that everybody holds, like, I don't know. Yellow's the best color, but I don't know if you call that an opinion, it's just a, oh, hold on, it's my phone. Hello? I gotta phone you back on account I'm doing a special on the TV, comedy special. So I'll call you back, okay? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Anyways, I was saying I don't got really no opinions, and I know a lot of people don't have opinions on account of I see it on the TV. Like I'll watch CNN, and they'll ask a question, and sometimes it's tough, they'll say like, what do you think that Southeast Asian Sea treaty, how do you think that'll affect the gross national product of Singapore? And anyways, at the end, they ask that question, do you think it's good, yes or no? And then at the end, they show the answer. I'm a sucker for a poll, So I always like to, I take part in, at the end, you will always see the same thing. It will be like, they'll show the poll and it's in like a pie chart, and you'll go, God damn, I wish I had some pie. Anyway, they show in a pie chart and it'll be like 45% yes, 45% no, 10% I don't know. So that's fine, I'm not ashamed of being part of 10%, sounds small, but 10% of this great country, that's 35 million people. That don't know, that's fine. And I'm a sucker, man. I always, anytime I see one of those polls, I phone up, I go, hello, is this the TV? Yeah, you asked a question earlier. I don't know. I don't know the answer to the question. But listen, I got a question for you. What'd that second word mean anyway? It did? All right, well, I better end up in that poll that looks like a pie, fella. I'm no sap. And then I hang up my phone. But I'll tell you, man, you got, especially when elections are around, you got to have a lot of, and you're a comedian, they expect you to know things nowadays. You know what I mean? It didn't used to be like that. Like during the Vietnam War, they wouldn't go, wonder what Red Skeleton thinks on this. But nowadays, like I've heard, they go, the comedian is the modern day philosopher, which first of all, it always makes me feel sad for the actual modern day philosophers who exist, They're working, trying to come up with their philosophy, and they go, God damn, you ever hear of this nightclub comic? He's doing some very good work on tautologism, or what the hell you say. But I tell you, when election cycles start, this is what I've noticed. They're very difficult, because they're trying to get the people that are smart, that know things. The people that know, because they're 90%, remember? I don't know people, only 10%. So they will try to get you with very, very hard, very difficult commercials. I've seen them, like a guy will come on TV, or a lady, and say, if you want to hear how I will fix health care as well as the massive student debt problem in this country, as well as keeping our borders secure, but still being compassionate, then please go on www.myname, and I have a 45-page position paper. And then I go, oh, no, I will not be doing that. And I'll tell you why. It's nothing against you. You seem like a fine enough fellow. It's just that I cannot read your 45-page position paper on account of earlier today, a guy told me that I only get the one life. So, what are you gonna... I still got half a box full of Matlock box sets. You only got so much time. You got to choose, You got to choose. But later on, man, when you get closer to the election, here's what always happens, I've noticed. Whenever you get close to an election, because there's only 3 days left to the election, and it's always tied, And they go, you know what we have to get? Those people that don't know anything. It's a very odd way of choosing the leader of the free world. But that's the best we got. And they go, we got to get those guys that don't. Then the commercials become very tough. Nothing about the Sea of Japan or anything like that. There's a guy will come on TV and go, hey, listen, let me ask you a question. Do you like yellow? And I go, yeah, of course I like yellow. And he goes, yeah, well, so does this guy. And they show a guy, he's waving, pointing at someone that doesn't exist, wearing a yellow shirt, And then I go, Ruth, get out here. God damn. Here's a guy on the TV that's speaking for me finally. Ruth. I'm always talking about how cool yellow is? Well, this motherfucker, finally, a person that's speaking not at me, but for me. You know what I read, actually? They say that the reason you vote for people is you vote for the guy you'd most like to have a beer with. I know that sounds odd, but it's true. They vote for presidents by who you would most enjoy having a beer with. But what I find even more interesting is that no one has ever used that to their political advantage. Like if it was me, that would be my whole campaign. That'd be the spine of it. Beer. You know what I mean? Everywhere I went, I'd be holding a glass of beer. You know what I mean? And my slogan would be, ah! And I'd hold up my beer. I go, ah, you like beer? Ha ha, me too. Vote for me, and then you can come to the White House and, ah! I think if I were to do it, I don't think I ever would. But you never know. You can't predict the future. I could wake up one day and go, I want to have one of them orgasms. That's 3/2 times as strong as the... I knew that advanced math degree was going to come in handy sometime. I just did not know when. This is what I would do if it ever happened to me. I would disguise it so it looked like an actual suicide. Because then, when I was found, my son wouldn't go, ah! He'd go, oh, mysterious. Dad's a mysterious guy. It's going to be a pretty cool story from here on in. So I would pretend, it was a real suicide. Like I would write a note, a suicide note. Do you think this would be funny, just as a practical joke, if you just wrote a suicide note and just blamed some random guy? Do you think that would be, you know what I mean? Like your barber or something like that, you go, it's all Ralph Abernathy's fault. Because the police would be compelled to go to Abernathy's barbershop and go, have you ever heard of a fellow named Norm Macdonald? I go, yeah, he'd come in every couple of months for a trim. Oh, okay. Well, anyways, he took his life because of you. I wrote it here in this letter. Would you like to keep the... And then Ralph Abernathy would have to spend the rest of his life walking down. Life's hard enough without having to... That's not a good practical joke. I should never have framed that as a good practical joke, because it's probably the worst practical joke. You know, it's the kind of practical joke gets you raped by the devil for all of time. I came here from Las Vegas, Nevada, and when I was on the air, where do airplanes go from? Airports. I was in the airport, and guys were asking, everyone wanted my ID, and it occurred to me that ID is a strange abbreviation, because I is short for I, and then D is short for identification. So seems to me D is doing most of the legwork on that one. But Vegas was cool. They have a motto in Vegas. They got their own slogan for the city. It says, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas," which is not true. You know, you can't kill a guy and then just leave, you know? They'll follow you. They'll find you. They'll bring you back, and they'll try you in front of a jury of your peers. So I thought, well, what does it mean anyways? You know, and I ruminated about it. Days and days and nights. Sleepless weeks became sleepless more weeks. And finally, it occurred to me. It was so simple. It was right in front of my face the entire time. Whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. All it really means is you can go to Vegas, you can have sex with a prostitute, and she will not tell your wife. They're very discreet, the Las Vegas prostitutes. You know? Not like these gossipy small town whores back where you live, you know? These fucking blabbermouths down at the beauty parlor with that pale blue thing over their head, whatever the fuck that is. Going, "You're Marge Majerison, John Neal's wife?" Well, by God. I took a shit on him last night. In exchange for cash. Nice fella. My favorite thing is the magic phone.